Hello guys, and welcome to a new WARNO video today by me, Vulcan. Today I have for you a 2 versus 2 on Black Forest, and in this one I'm going to be using the 39th Guards Rifles. I'm going to be joined by Yagsource on my team, who's going to be using the 7th Panzerdivision, and we're up against 2 people playing the 5th Panzerdivision, Alto and Saint Blindfire. So off we go at the start here. This is one of the new maps, one of the latest maps, Black Forest. That's why I wanted to show this game for you guys today. We are already going to see some enemy aircraft coming out at the start there, but let's just have a quick look at what I got down here. So on the left we have the Razvedka. The Razvedka are just going to be jumping into one of these buildings to cover off on the left hand side. They do have a launcher, which is quite nice for killing enemy transports. I also have a BRDM2 on the way there with a couple of extra infantry squads. One of these smaller squads which have the launcher, IAP power launcher, and then the Saperi to follow it up, just a little bit of infantry support. Further up in the centre we got the Razvedka with the BRDMs. I've also got an MIA MT. This is the Rocket 3 variant, which comes with the 80mm rockets, which is actually really nice. It deletes infantry quite well. I've also got the leader coming up here. I've got a bunch of these Saperi. I've got a couple of these AT squads, and then I've also got the Iglas there. 4 Iglas at the start. Following up, we got one BMP3 with the Motorstrauki and the MTLB there. At the start, lots and lots of aircraft come out of our opponents. They've got the Alpha jets with the rockets hanging about. There was the Tornado with the MW1 cluster. And they've also now brought out like these 2 F-104G AAs, which have been harassing our aircraft, or helicopters I should say. So the initial engagement into here doesn't really go too well. Currently, German infantry is very strong. So I'm playing with the Soviets. Jagd is playing with the East Germans, but still a little bit of a difference, I would say, in power, and the Jaegers are particularly strong. But I'm going to drop in off my infantry here, and you're going to see my Saperi try and get close to the Jaeger Aufklärer at the start. I am kind of pushing into heavy cover here, so my Saperi are going to get absolutely annihilated. These fellas aren't really made for attacking infantry with their 4 men, so that doesn't work out too well, and we lose that engagement. There is aircraft going down everywhere while this is going on. This Alpha jet coming overhead. Iglas failing to shoot it down. I had 4 Iglas in this building. Unfortunately, they didn't get the job done. So a bit of a disastrous start for us. I think the main issue that we had was both myself and Jagd are not too familiar with this map. So when we deployed to fight over these sectors, our opponents reached that location first. And that meant that they were already in heavy cover when we arrived. And that makes it really, really hard for us to push into. And that comes down to a little bit of a map imbalance, I feel. It's easier for the blue side in this case to come and move into our sector, the Dimitri sector, at the start of the game. Like, they're going to get here at the same time we do. So they're going to be contesting Dimitri, but there's no like 3rd sector behind, right? Whereas you'd expect the 50-50 to kind of be here, where both troops end up turning up, but it's a little bit favoured towards the blue side in this case, and that was definitely causing issues. SU-22 coming in with a lovely cluster strike there. Blows up a couple of these tanks. Leaves them burning. F-104s coming into intercepts. I can never quite get over how amazing this looks and sounds sometimes. I do have a MiG-23 MLA trying to take it down. The missile's not quite hitting the mark, unfortunately. And another F-104 comes in to intercept my MiG now. My MiG's going to try and do a runner, but the F-104 is on our tail. We just about managed to get out in time. It was very close. You know, my initial Mi-8T, or MT, got shot down. So I'm bringing up another one. Super important for me to be able to take out the enemy infantry, as I mentioned already, because the infantry disparity, particularly between the 5th Panzerdivision and the 39th, is quite big. I'm reliant quite heavily on Sapari and Motostrauki, which currently in the game don't really do too well against Jaegers. Anything with a G3, pretty much. And you can see even here, like the 2 Panzergrens, was a full squad of Sapari in heavy cover, and the Panzergrens just absolutely eating them for breakfast. And of course this unit not really be able to do much about it either, with its AK-74s, only has 2 of them there, so yeah, that's not ideal. So I'm just going to be running away with my recon car. It's funny watching it try and do a runner there, but just bringing them back so that I can then supplement them with more infantry further down, because I just can't afford to put infantry over here currently, since we're not really doing too well on the right hand side either. So it's a bit of a difficult start. Motostrauki, going to try and get them into the edge of the town here, hope for a bit of a better engagement. My main way to defeat Jaegers and the German infantry in this case is more or less to outnumber them. I think that's probably the only way that I could convincingly take on their troops. But the trouble that we have doing that is, as soon as we bunch up, the Tornado MW1s are going to be coming in. So I've got to hope that my Iglas can do the job shooting them down throughout the game. The MP3, unfortunately, going to go down there. Misses its HGM as well. Did manage to get a nice Leopard 185 kill though with the Motostrauki, so that was okay. And I've brought in a couple of BMP3s here now that are going to be trying to help Yag to push a little bit further in the center. And so far, Yag's done okay, getting the enemy infantry out of this sector, killing the couple tanks there with the cluster strikes and stuff. So he's got a relatively good foothold at this area. My main concern right now is this area, however. If we don't manage to keep hold of infantry here, in these buildings, then it's going to give the enemy team a chance to get command in here, and that obviously wouldn't be ideal. So Jäger Aufklärer, currently going for my Motostrauki. I am going to be getting the better of them. I come in with my 2 Motostrauki here on one side, and that's going to start really beating on them quite a bit. And now the Pioneers are on their way. The Uzi's absolutely annihilating my Motostrauki there. That's 3 units of these Pioneers. And yeah, goodbye to my Motostrauki. They die very, very fast. Even though I had a lot of time on target there. The RDM's going to spot one of these Fuchs going through cover over here. And of course, we did just see a unit here. The Leopard, I believe that was. That's snuck all the way around. So we're going to be trying to deal with that with a cluster strike. Make sure that our reinforcement route is not being taken out or ambushed, I guess. SG-24 does go down after the 2 F-104s take it out. And these F-104s, they actually did a really good job in this game. Unfortunately, my AA just wasn't really doing the trick. I guess I probably should have invested into more AA earlier, once we saw so many aircraft. Like get the like OSAs in and the Strela 10Ms and stuff like that. But BMP3s now going to be pushing aggressively onto the Pioneers. There's nothing these Pioneers can do against this. They don't have any AT, so BMP3 is quite happily rolling up there and destroying both of those squads, but going to fall them back, as without infantry support it is a bit futile pushing further forwards, particularly with the Jäger Aufklärer that didn't actually end up dying in the end, so I can't really afford to keep pushing through there. Going to have to wait for more infantry, and I do have the Sapari RPO on that now on the way. I did drop off a Sapari RPO on the left here as well, to help with the infantry that was pushing down here, so the Panzergrens that unloaded from the Martyrs. But yeah, more Sapari RPO. These are going to be playing defensively on the edge of the town for the time being, as obviously we know currently that they're constantly pushing stuff round the edge. But the trouble that we have is that I can't support my infantry well enough in the forests to push back in that direction. Like ideally, you know, if this were still Division 2, for example, I would, you know, get some pioneers and we'd push back through the forest the opposite direction and try and put some pressure onto center. But even the 5th Panzer Division standard infantry is good enough to take out my specialized close range infantry. So it puts you in a bit of a predicament. Nega Aufkladder there, almost sniping one of my BTR-60s before it unloaded. Thankfully got it unloaded in time. Spuddy up here is going to be demolishing that squad with their napalm launchers. My Mi-8 is going to end up going down. I believe it got caught out by a Gepard. Didn't really have much chance to move it. The Gepard's can put out quite a lot of DPS. Pretty fast indeed. There we go, Superdiapios once again firing their incendiary launchers at these Jaeger squads. We're doing some okay damage there, but it's mainly the launchers that are getting the damage in, whilst the, you know, AKs, they're not really doing too much because the accuracy is only like 30%. When you compare to like the Jaegers, they get the 39% and they get the extra damage there as well. The damage being like the major factor. BRDM's getting taken out. That's unfortunate. And I do have now an Su-25 hanging about that was looking for rockets on the left-hand side. There was a Marder that was pushing up here with the Panzergrens that I was talking about earlier. I'm just trying to use my BTR-60 to potentially spot that, and then we can rocket run it with the Su-25. But no luck so far. So BMP-3 is now pushing through with the Motostrauki. Looking to try and engage some of Alto's infantry. But they do have these Leopard 105s, and these 105s are actually really, really nice for supporting infantry because they have they only cost like 80 points, and they have decent penetration and really good accuracy. So they almost always land their shots, and against something like a BMP-3, they're going to be really, really good because the BMP-3 can't really do anything about the Leopard unless it's at range. Like the Bastion missile is pretty much the only way that the BMP-3 is going to be able to kill a Leopard, and it does have 18 penetration, which is okay, but at the end of the day, the Leopard just has the kinetic round, so it penetrates more at close range. It's going to one-shot us, whilst ours is like pretty much a heat round, which means that it only does a certain amount of damage relative to the armor. Yeah, the calculations can be a bit funny. But yeah, either way, my missile's not going to one-shot a Leopard. At close range, a Leopard's going to one-shot the BMP-3 because the AP scaling gets higher at close range. So BTR-60 is once again finding another Pioneer on their own, so going to be running them down. Quite happy for my BTRs to engage that unit. And then we're going to move back towards the support of our infantry again, same as before. So our opponents have managed to get some infantry into these buildings now, which is a bit of a worry for us. Like, it's only a matter of time really until they put a command in here and try and sneak one into the corner, and that way, you know, start to get themselves some points. Because otherwise, you know, this game is just going to be a stalemate for the time being. T80 did manage to get a BV up here. That's going to pop these Leopard 1A5s. Just like the 1A5s can pop my BMP-3s at close range, while the T80 BV is there to pop the Leopard 1A5s at close range. Because these only have 7 front armor. I've got 17 front armor with 18 AP. So should be able to do a decent chunk of damage to these medium tanks. And the M48's A2 there going down to 1 health with that shot. If I was a little bit closer, it would have got the 1-shot kill. The MP3 doing a good job again against Pioneers, but here comes the Tornado. Going to absolutely delete Jagdsource's infantry, unfortunately. Does get shot down, however, which is a good kill. Chilka's going to be struggling against the F-16. There was also a Tornado with the cluster munition, which causes my T-80BV to get killed because of the engagement with the 2A3. So, yeah, that was unfortunate. F-16 looking cool as ever, though. Is going to get hit a little bit by the Shilka. On the road, Jaeger Aufkala did find its way round. We do manage to take them out though, with the support of the T-55s from Jagd. Not too long till we took that out. The MP3 does manage to take out the Jaeger that pushed into the tree line. That was pretty good. Yeah, we're kind of struggling at the moment for sure, with my T-80 going down and the Leopard staying alive and probably getting fixed up now. That's really not ideal, because the Leopard 2A3s, they're already going to counter the best armor that the 36th has to offer, or 39th has to offer. So it was unfortunate that I didn't get the kill onto the Leopard 2A3, because that would have been, you know, ideal. If I can trade T-80BVs for Leopard 2A3s, that's a good trade any day for this division. The other thing is Jagd with his division, the 7th, they also kind of struggle. BTR-60 getting knocked out there before it unloaded this time around, which is really bad news for me. Can't afford to sacrifice any infantry at all in this matchup, so a bit of a mistake on my part. But the BTR-60 PBs are going to be able to finish up that Marder Panzergren, so not too bad. Now I've got Strelas on the way. Finally deciding to do something about all of this aircraft, and since they're using SEED, best solution is just infrared AA, which these BRDM Strelas have. The Strela's not the best weapon in the world though, only 40% accuracy, and that's before ECM comes into effect, so yeah, just looking for en masse AA that can potentially shoot down an enemy aircraft without being able to be targeted itself. Tornado coming in again. Seeing the flash on those is so cool, but that's going to be the second tornado going down. They're going to have probably, I think, 4 of them because of the 5th Panzer Division, so, you know, killing 2 is nice and all, but yeah, there's still going to be potentially more that they can bring in as a team. So T-72s, they're going to be trying to engage the Leopards here. These T-72s are actually pretty nice. For 110 points, with 11 front armor and 18 AP, they do trade very well against medium armor. Of course, they are still going to get taken out by heavy armor, and in this case, the addition of the Leopard 2A3 in the middle is absolutely going to chew up Jagdsource's tanks. The mortar fire obviously not helping as well, causing the cohesion to be lowered in these units, not necessarily causing lots of damage, but a decent hit there from the T-55. I think it probably got a side shot, got the turret stuck as well onto the Leopard. That wasn't too bad. The Paddy pushing through, do manage to find and kill the Jaeger in this compound, so that was good. BTR-60, however, is struggling to take out the Jaeger. Looks like we found the amphibious capability. Takes 1 rocket to the face, and the Jaeger's going to back off for now. I did have infantry in here, but of course got deleted by the close range engagement. The units don't have amphibious capability, by the way, just so I don't confuse anyone. They probably will do in the future. I reckon they will add amphibious capabilities to the vehicles, but that was just because of the map there being a bit funky. I got some T-80s on the way, some T-80BVs. I've got 4 of them. Figures, same way that I need to outnumber with infantry, I also need to outnumber with tanks, because the only way that I'm going to be able to secure a kill onto a 2A3 is by landing probably 2 shots from a T-80BV in quick succession, and the easiest way to do that, of course, is to have 2 T-80BVs. So yeah, bringing in 4 of them is going to allow me to, you know, split them up into groups of 2 and just kind of try and tackle these enemy tanks as best we can. But the biggest struggle that we're having here right now is that we can't push out in the open because we don't have superior armor, and we can't push out through the forest because we don't have superior infantry. And it's as simple as that, really. Their aircraft is very similar to us in terms of capability, So that's not really an advantage for us. Like, yes, we can have quite a lot of aircraft because of the 7th Panzer Division potentially, but the 5th Panzer Division currently has some of the best AA in the game in the form of the Gepard. So, you know, there are these constant issues in imbalance between these divisions. But I thought this was a fun game to show off the new map at least. And obviously, game is work in progress. Balance will be probably. Well, it is quite high on the priority list of Eugen right now, but I think, you know, it's something that will certainly be more fine-tuned towards when the game actually is going to come out, because currently there's still things that I think need to be changed. There is an infantry rework on the way, so once we see that, we can kind of consider more of what is going to be balanced in this game. Like, I wouldn't even mind it if, for example, the 39th in this case, or like the Soviet divisions in general, had superior numbers in infantry, whilst the NATO forces maybe had more elite infantry, you know, they're more accurate or whatever. Like, I wouldn't even mind that at all. I think that wouldn't be too bad. Anyway, Su-25 does get a decent kill there onto the Leopard, but instantly gonna get wiped out there. Do kill one of the F-104s with all of my AA, but yeah, my Su-25, I'm not sure why it pulled towards the enemy there, but got into range of all of the Rolands, and yeah, goodbye. So now my T-80's trying to engage the enemy armor here. There was smoke in our way, unfortunately, which is not ideal, so gonna have to back off for the time being, and I did lose one of my T-80s in that engagement. F-16 going to be coming in again, looking for the AA here. I believe it maybe did find the kill onto the Shilka. Yeah, I think it killed that Shilka, but all of the Strelas just failing to get the kill after the fact, which was unfortunate. Oh no, that's what happened to my T-80. Never mind. They're still all alive. I just fell one all the way back because it took a bunch of damage, so I'm going to be bringing up some of my own supply to fix those up. I've also got a bunch of these BMP-1s on the way. They're going to be providing support with Motorstrelki Metis squads. These Metis launchers are going to be okay at dealing with the enemy armor, particularly the lighter armored units like the Mardas and stuff, not necessarily the Leopards so much, but you know, they're good in a kind of I don't know who I'm trying to convince. They're not that great, but they're okay. They're the infantry that I had, and I thought that they'd be a good choice against the amount of sort of medium armor that they're using, but ultimately it's a little bit futile at this point. Zapelli RPOs are going to be trying to jump forwards into this building to deal with the Jaegers, but they're going to come under fire from the Marder 1A3 and also the Leopard 1A5. Metis squad currently failing to hit the 1A3 Milan here. And, well, they missed 2 shots already, and this is why I was saying that they're not particularly useful, because they've actually got to hit the mark. And in that case, the Marder just drops out of line of sight before the missile hits, so the missile actually ends up missing because of that, which is, again, not ideal. I think at that range, the Motorstrelki Metis squad should be able to see the Marder, so I don't know, maybe it's potentially an optics issue as well, which is another thing that certainly needs to be kind of fine-tuned at the moment in this game, I believe. Motorstrelki were launching some missiles towards the 2A3. Did land 1 hit, which took off 1 damage of the Leopard 2A3. Now in the wreck of this building after it got destroyed. Just going to be leaving them there for the time being, because figures that if any infantry come close, if I have a 3-to-1 advantage there, that'd be really good. Get a lovely side shot onto the Leopard 2A3 there. And I'm going to bring up the other T-80 BBs to finish the job. The smoke is just a little bit too late there from the 2A3. So I managed to pick 1 off at least, which is, I would say, a good start. But at this point, we've already lost quite a lot of units. It was an exercise in futility, this game, it felt. However, a good time to look at the new map. And as I mentioned before, I think the new map is cool. I do like the new map. I just think that the sectors are a little bit unbalanced at the moment. You know, this sector should either be further back, or there should be a sector in the middle and then another sector behind. So it's like 3 sectors in the middle, rather than just the 2. TATBV gonna have to be moving back because got the shots coming out of the tree line over here. So it's a little bit risky for me because, as you can see, I've got Age of Gems coming in from the 90-degree angle, which is going to end up getting me side shot if I'm not too careful. I just want to take out the Marder 1A3 there. This time around, the F-16 is not so lucky and get shot down. Yeah, it was unfortunate that my T-80s didn't really finish off the units that are over here, like the Leopard 105 and the Marder. They did kill these Marders and stuff, but yeah, all of the armor over there on this side managed to get away, so it's probably just going to end up getting repaired, which is not ideal. Of course, we're doing the same thing. Anytime that our tanks survive and we're able to fall them back, repairing them is super important. It's something that you can do in WARNO that you couldn't do in Steel Division 2. So making sure that you repair your units is super important. Anyway, Superior going to be able to deal with these Jaegers pretty well. So that's one Jaeger down. And the other thing, I had these supply trucks in the town that were there to resupply the napalm launchers of the Superior and the Iglas, so that I could use them to their full potential against their infantry, because I really needed all the help that I could get. So yeah, because we're still trying to get through this tree line and win the engagements against the Germans, but it's not doing too great at the moment. The constant mortar fire coming in, certainly not helpful. He is replying with some artillery of his own. A couple of Akatsaya here from Jagd. I probably could have brought in my own artillery for this one to help me out with some of these infantry engagements, but the issue I find is that artillery at the moment isn't really good unless you have a lot of it. Like, if you have a lot of it, it all lands all at once, and then you can actually get some decent kills. So in the end, I decide to use the Su-24s, and 2 of my Su-24s do end up going down. One of the HE variant, one of the cluster variant. And the main reason that these came in was to A, clean out this area of infantry, but also to get rid of the enemy command that's now snuck into our sector. With some artillery coming in here. I'm not sure if that's what pushed it out. I think it was most likely they just retreated the command for the time being back over on the far left. BMP-1 going down in the forest again. That means that we've got more infantry on our flank that we're going to have to worry about. So what I'm doing is I'm bringing in a spare command on the right hand side to make sure that we can keep this capped. There goes the command once again. I've got this Superior Comroti in the town, and that has been giving like extra veterancy to these Igla squads, whilst also of course capturing the sector. And what I've done here is I put this next to these OSAs, so potentially they can get some decent kills in as well. Because now I have, what, 3 OSAs, 4 Strela 1s, and we managed to take down a couple of Seed aircraft now, I believe, so we should be pretty much locking down the air for the time being. The Jaegers are going to be pushing in here now. They are supported by tanks, the M48A2s. Unfortunate that the M48 had line of sight there onto my supply truck, because that means I'm not going to be able to resupply my infantry. But I do manage to take out both of the Jaegers, and we're then going to be able to potentially fall back. You might be wondering why my Superior Comroti is moving forwards here. It was actually to get the RPG on target, because I wasn't really sure which way we'd be able to deal with the M48s otherwise. Couple of Razvidka on the way. Really trying to spot targets for my T-80s. I was convinced that having my T-80s in this position would be a good idea, because I'd be able to fire from, right to left, but they're just so blind here that we couldn't see anything or shoot at anything, and all of this infantry kept coming down here and then, you know, pushing into the town from the top left, whilst my T-80s hadn't seen a thing, which was obviously really bad. Leopard 2A3 does manage to get the better of one of my T-80 BBs as well. So yeah, it was kind of my bad not really having recon there sooner. And you can see my Vertical at the moment just not even unloaded. That's my bad. But the MI8 should potentially be able to spot things. It does have that exceptional optics, just wasn't seeing anything at a distance there. But with Pioneers on the way, with those satchel charges, if they get into the buildings next to my Sapelli are going to go down. So yeah, I'm in a bit of a predicament right now. Just kind of hoping that the Sapelli RPO can hold the ground from a distance for a little while with the Euro here, providing them with pretty much infinite ammo. As soon as they come under fire though, they won't be able to resupply, so that is obviously an issue. But yeah, the satchel charges, yeah, they're going to demolish the mod Schützen there. Sapelli launching all of their rockets into those Pioneers. But unfortunately, that's not enough. Too many Pioneers there. And those G3s just tearing them a new one. T-80 finally able to get some shots onto the Pioneers, but then engaged by the 2A3 here. Going to be dropping down the smoke and getting out of there. Looking for the shot with the T-80 right now. Managed to get one hit in there, but that's only 2 damage from the T-80 BV. No chance, got to back off. Get those fixed up, go again. Mi-24 has arrived to give us a hand. There's currently 8 minutes left on the clock, and they have the +1 advantage on us. So, not so great at the moment. Trying to get this Mi-24, the 23mm on target, to delete these infantry squads in close support of the Motorstrauki. The Mi-24 VP, it's okay. It used to be a lot better. For 300 points, it's very overpriced. But the 23mm gun used to be really, really good and really, really fun to use, but now not so much. It doesn't really do the damage that it did. Rockets, however, getting the job done. Those 80mm rockets, same ones as I use on the Mi-8s. Very nice. I like them a lot. They do a decent amount of damage against armor and infantry. Now I'm going to be trying to move my Motorstrauki back to kill the Leopard. Both of the F-104s are going to get shot down after coming over all of my AA. You can see on the right hand side now they've pushed up 2A3, Leopard 1A1s, Panzerdivision managing to get through there. We're getting pushed up really bad here. All of my Motorstrauki just get deleted as they come out of the building there. And yeah, my Mi-24 on the left hand side going to be hit by the Gepard. That gets taken out before I can even move it. Motorstrauki going for the kill onto the 1A1 at close range, but doesn't quite get the kill. T-80 BV is just trying their best right now to win their engagements at close range, which is pretty much the only place where they can win at the moment. I do manage to take out quite a lot of units there, a couple Marders, a couple Leopard 1A1s, pretty fast with the T-80s, but I've also got to get rid of this 2A3. T-55's going to be able to deal with the Pioneers on the right hand side there at range quite nicely. Tornado though coming in with cluster munitions, going to be able to dodge one way, try and dodge the other way. And I managed to keep both of them alive, but one of them's now down to only 2 health, which means that it's going to be a lot less likely to be able to engage any of the armor out in the open. So that's a bit of a problem. So I'm pulling them back into the town. The main reason being is because of these supply trucks that are going to be able to help fix up my T-80 BVs. Leopard 2A3 managed to get a really sneaky shot in there onto one of my T-80 BVs, which was really unfortunate. I'm just going to be pulling that right out the way. Again, I was really surprised that this Mi-8 couldn't see more. I think it was just flying maybe a bit too low. I probably should have done like change altitude on it to make it go up a little bit more. Su-25, keeping that at range as best as I can to try and snipe some armor. Just to slow down the advance a little bit. Gepard 1A1. They're now pushing up onto the Mi-8. And that's going to take that down. Things are really starting to fall apart on our front. And, well, with the Su-25 out of AT missiles and the AA coming in there, going to have to fall that back. Another F-16 on the way. Looking for the kills onto the OSAs. Is going to find one. My other OSA though, getting bang on target there. Really, really nice. Takes down the F-16. Do lose that infantry unnecessarily, really. But going to be moving this one over to the right-hand side, hoping it to get into this building to engage the Leopard at closer range. And we do have decent AP here, like 21 penetration against the Leopard's 19 front armor. Do 2 damage a hit, but no chance really. Cluster strike gets the job done from the Su-22 though, and the MiG coming in there with the bombing strike. That's looking for something out in the open over here. EMP at close range. Didn't quite manage to pin down the Jaeger in time. The Jaeger getting stunned just after by the Motorstrelki, but we do take out the Leopard 1A1 on that left-hand side. But with the Panzergrens, the Jaegers, all this stuff just rolling forwards now, we're in a really, really bad spot. But the BMP-3s should be alright on the right-hand side as long as there's not another 2A3 for the time being. So that's why these are moving up. I do manage to get the kill onto my leader there with the MW1. Of course, we've still got the leader in the town, so that's not gone quite yet. But with all this infantry slowly but surely pushing through, not gonna be too long until we completely lose this sector. Pioneers coming in there, just so much better than any of the infantry that we have access to. All my Sapelli RPO is not really doing the job. My standard Sapelli, again, not really able to do too much. And yeah, the Sapelli Comrotti right now, I'm trying to let it kill the Marder, but it kept missing its RPG. So try and now move it, but a little bit too late. And there goes the second leader in the sector. And what was, you know, I want to say a close game. You know, we kept them at the center, or kept them, you know, out of Dimitri for a very long time, but it's completely just destroyed us towards the end of the game. It just came right through, and we just lost pretty much everything we had. T-80's trying to hold on, Su-25 trying to drop some AT in there, but instantly taken out by the Rolands. And yeah, cluster munition coming down onto the T-80. It's just getting worse and worse. Alpha jets coming in for their rocket strikes. Motorstrelki going down. The Axor's Pioneers not able to do the trick either. Main reason being, again, G3 is just absolutely being lethal there, but furthermore, the flamethrower takes a little while to aim, so whilst these Pioneers are pretty good with their flamethrowers, it just is unfortunate that they don't aim at the same time as like a Pioneer squad. Cluster munitions again for my T-80 there. Just about managed to move forwards enough to avoid that. More Motorstrelki coming in. Double MiG on the way to try and shoot down some of these aircraft. I was actually looking for the tornadoes here with these MiGs, but my MiGs were just being so unreliable, and unfortunately one of them getting shot down there. Missing every missile that they fired. Looking for that cluster tornado IDS. Only able to really get these long-range missiles off rather than the close range, because I can't really get too far over the enemy AA, otherwise it's just going to get shot down. Lucky to get out there, actually. Another HE bomber this time coming in. actually routes my T-80BV. The Leopard and the M48 going to be able to rush it down. And yeah, pretty much have nothing left. That's it. That is game. 3 seconds left on the clock. They got enough of a lead to take the victory, of course, and T-80 goes down at the last second as well, and that was a rough old game for us, but a good demonstration, I guess, of the new map. I think it does definitely need work in terms of the positioning of the sectors. Maybe add another sector, I think would be nice. Maybe have 3 sectors there instead of 2. But yeah, 4,662 kills, 7,320 losses. With all of the stuff just disintegrating at the end there and them getting on top of all of my AA, that is why it's so damn high. Particularly with like the Mi-24, for example, going down, that's 300 points on its own. You know, these sort of things that aren't probably worth their price at the moment, that's for sure. But a fun game and an interesting look at the new map. And that's where I'm going to leave it. So yeah, hopefully guys enjoyed that quick look at the new Black Forest map. It was certainly showing some of the imbalance of the German divisions at the moment with the extra damage on the G3, but I'm sure that'll be fixed in the future. That's it for now. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed it. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.